Hello and welcome to another Streaming Person video. Today, I want to talk about an adorable Hokkaido gal. Not that one. Not that one either. Definitely not that one. There you go. Today's D4DJ character analysis is about Photon Maiden's DJ and main vocalist, Izumo Saki. Saki has always been an interesting character because of how distinguished she is not just among her unit members, but amongst the D4DJ cast as a whole. Instead of making a giant list of reasons, several of which could be their own videos, I want to focus on a core idea that is not obvious to put into words. The idea of Saki as the other. Before I start talking about Saki, I want to talk about my anime pick of the season, which I am surprised I'm so late this time around. That anime is Hokkaido Gals Are Super Adorable. This anime is about a boy named Shiki Tsubasa who moved from Tokyo to Katami, a town in the northern province of Hokkaido. Aside from romantic comedy elements of Tsubasa meeting a bunch of attractive girls, a core aspect of the story is the idea of Tsubasa as an outsider. He is the city slicker moving into the more rural part of Japan. This means he comes from a different culture and mentality fostered from his upbringing, which does make him blunder through some of his interaction with other characters. As per core of anime romance comedies, it is this otherness of the protagonist that attracts the romantic interest. While reading Hokkaido Gals Are Super Adorable, I noticed parallels between Tsubasa and Photon Maiden's Saki. They are outsiders who are displaced from their home cities. They both struggle to adapt to their new environments, but at the same time, this isn't much of an issue because their raw talent allows them to survive and even impress others with their unique abilities. Their mannerisms, despite being somewhat foreign, are endearing, which attracts others to them and makes them likable as people in universe, as well as characters we the audience observe. Ironically, Tsubasa and Saki have swapped their geographical relocations, which makes it less about their starting points, but rather the fact that they are the other. A point that is emphasized in Saki-related D4DJ stories is that she is from the Hokkaido region. It is not specified which city in Hokkaido, though. This immediately contrasts her to the rest of the cast, who are all from Tokyo, or at least the Kanto region, save for Abyssmare, as well as Mana from Call of Artemis. One way of displaying this geographical difference is having Saki act in ways that one would associate with countryside stereotypes. For instance, in the Go Wild Once in a While Saki character story, we learn that she is not only knowledgeable about cow ranching, but possesses the skill to handle a herd of roaming cows. Saki's country girl aesthetic is evident in her calmness when encountering cows, while the rest of Photon Maiden is panicking in fear they might get attacked. Additionally, Saki possesses a high level of knowledge about cows, which is noteworthy considering Noah is present, even going so far as to have Saki give the info dump about a subject that Noah is not as proficient about. Saki's efficiency in herding cows also highlights a sense of experience with countryside life that makes sense when distinguishing her among her peers.
多分どこかから脱作してきたんだと思う。脱作？うん、柵から抜け出すこと。
つまりこの近くから逃げてきたってこと？近くに牧場でもあるのかしら。
北海道で田舎の方に行った時、時々こういうことがあったの。大人の人たちがみんな大騒ぎしてた。ほら、花輪がついているし、耳には管理用のタグもついてる。そりゃ野生の牛なんていないだろうけど。
確かに野生の牛がいないなら誰かが飼ってたに決まってる。けど 自分の目で見ていても信じられない光景ね。
放っておいたら線路の方に迷い込んじゃうかも。さきちゃん、危ないよ。
ああ、まるで迷いなく牛のそばまで行っちゃった。
大丈夫。飼われてる子はこの鼻先のロープを引いてあげればついてくるから。
本当だ、さきちゃんに引っ張られておとなしくついてく。
さきちゃんかっこいい。
さき、道路脇の柵に結んでおくの？
こうしたら逃げないと思う。
それにしても危なくないの？あまり無茶をするのは賛成できないわよ。
人に慣れてる子だから驚かせなければ大丈夫。すごい。いぶきさん、この子たちを探している人がいると思うから警察か消防に電話してもらえる？
そうね。わかった。
トワさんとノアさんは私と一緒に牛さんを引っ張って安全なところに移動させてほしい。私全然経験ないけど危なくない？突進とか体当たりとかしてこない？ほら、闘牛みたいな感じでさ。興奮はしてないみたいだから驚かせたり正面から近づいたりしなければ大丈夫だと思う。横からゆっくりと近づくといい。でも後ろ足の近くは蹴ってくるかもしれないから肩のあたりを目指す感じで。
詳しい。
さきちゃん意外とたくましい。ワイルドさきちゃんだね。ワイルド
Saki being the girl from the countryside is loosely referenced again in D4DJ Old Mix episode 8, where Saki goes on a camping trip with the rest of Photon Maiden along with Lyrical Lily. There is a scene where Ibuki, Miyu, and Haruna are figuring out how to go about cutting firewood. Saki volunteers to cut the firewood, with good form to boot. She mentions that she frequently goes camping with her father, so she has experience in the wilderness. Scenes like this use the country girl angle to point out that Saki is the odd one out in every setting she finds herself in. This goes beyond Saki possessing some skills that a bunch of city slickers wouldn't have, but it is a natural way of establishing Saki's alienation. While every D4DJ character possesses some ability or attribute that separates them from every other character, Saki's qualities are weaved into the narrative in a way to make her feel otherworldly. In the story, Saki possesses synesthesia, the ability to experience a sensation in one of the senses through a stimulus in another sense. In Saki's case, she sees waves of color through sound, especially music, which gives her a keen sense of reading the environment and DJs accordingly. In every Photon Maiden themed episode of First Mix and All Mix, the audience is given a glimpse of Saki's perspective so that we can see the world through her unique lens. Voice of Evolution is an interesting episode in First Mix, as we are not given inner thoughts of the Photon Maiden characters. Throughout First Mix, we frequently hear the inner thoughts of Happy Around characters, and are even given a moment into Shinobu's inner thoughts. With Saki, her synesthesia acts as a visual insight into Saki's mind, adding a layer to how Saki differs from every other character, especially fellow DJs Maho and Shinobu. This change in storytelling works well to focus on Saki's visual sensations through sound.
たちの色とは違う新しい色。
It is a shame that Allmix did not continue this trend, as its first Photon Maiden episode, You're So Cute, is a Noah-focused story. This means that we are directly given Noah's inner thoughts at some point in the episode, as the synesthesia visual telling would not work in this scenario. Despite this, Saki's synesthesia is still used to show the audience that Saki internally accepts Noah's passion and vision of a new song. The following episodes, Love and Sky and Stars and God, break away from Saki's alienation by having Saki give her inner thoughts first when singing a hymn under Lyrical Lily's tutelage, and again after Photon Maiden's collaboration with Lyrical Lily. To be fair, First Mix and Allmix have a 2-year gap between them, and a lot has changed in Saki's writing since Voice of Evolution. Additionally, due to Groovy Mix being composed of sprites and 2.5D models, there are no animated moments where we see Saki's synesthesia in play. Sadly, Saki's synesthesia as a piece of visual storytelling does not get a lot of usage. However, there are other avenues for Saki's character alienation to shine.
ビニール傘越しの景色が一瞬で変わった。かすかな雨粒がキラキラ反射して小さな光が降り注いでいるみたい。それに音がいっぱい。水たまりを踏む革靴の音、傘から滴る水音、走る車のタイヤ音、街行く人の話し声。さっきまで雨にかき消されて聞こえなかったんだ。いくつもの音が重なって街全部が一つの音楽みたい。
Aside from the Hokkaido aspect, the other main character quality of Saki that is emphasized is her knowledge and love of astronomy. Allmix takes this detail and builds 2 episodes around this. Photon Maiden's story arc in Allmix is about them finding a new direction in their music to follow suit from the other DJ units. You're So Cute is about Photon Maiden showing their real selves as being a bunch of cute girls as opposed to the image of being a cool and stylish DJ unit, which produced the song For Many Colors. Love and Sky and Stars and God narrow in on that theme by focusing on Saki and her marrying her personal passion with her professional persona. This makes sense since Saki is the face of Photon Maiden. Even though these 2 episodes have all the members of Photon Maiden and Lyrical Lily present, it feels as if Saki is the most at home, being in a rural setting where the sky is clear enough to see stars at night. During the scene where Saki and Miyu are stargazing, Saki is able to speak naturally and freely as she points out various constellations. When Saki gives Miyu her backstory, Saki easily articulates her passion for Hokkaido, her love of family, and astronomy. But when talking about Photon Maiden, she is meek and slow to speak. Thematically, this plays into Saki's feelings of being unsure of her vision for Photon Maiden, being paralleled with her professional life in Tokyo and how the city lights blot out one's ability to see stars at night, versus seeing the clear starlit sky giving clarity in Saki's musical vision. It seems unfair that Saki is given the focus for 2 episodes when there was plenty of opportunity to develop Ibuki, Toa, or any of the Lyrical Lily members further. But advertising the music does come first, with the release of Melodious Stars, which is the song that Saki produces in-universe after finding her clarity and new sense of direction. Groovy Mix's parallel to Saki and Miyu's heart-to-heart is found in My Father and the Universe. While Saki's interaction with Toa is similar to her interaction with Miyu, there are a couple of details I want to point out. The first is that despite Toa and Saki being friends for quite some time, they have not had an actual discussion about astronomy, as implied by Saki asking Toa if she had become interested in outer space. Considering Toa's sociable nature, one would think that she would take interest in astronomy, just so they would have more to talk about, and allow Toa to get a leg up on Ibuki and Noah in their relationships with Saki. However, this plays into Saki's alienation, as even her own overly eccentric teammate does not divulge into her interests, keeping Saki separate from those around her. The second detail I want to focus on is how Saki relates to her father. In Love and Sky, Saki mentions that she would often go camping with her father in order to go stargazing. This implies that this was a regular occurrence. However, in My Father and the Universe, Saki mentions that due to his work, Saki's father was often too busy to spend time with his family. Saki would often find ways to spend time with her father by interrupting his work to talk about astronomy. The audience is quickly attuned to the notion that Saki is a carbon copy of her father, and that they are easily absorbed into their work, but utilize conversation about outer space to restore themselves and find joy in the midst of life's pressures. Just as quickly as Saki could identify her father's gloomy face when overworking, her father is quick to check up on her to see if she is feeling homesick. In the Saki member card story, Wonderful Friends, Saki is made self-conscious of her time being away from home. Her father writes to her asking if she is enjoying life in Tokyo and if she feels lonely living on her own. I interpret this in lieu of what we know about Saki's relationship with her father, in so much that he fears the things that make Saki different, like her Hokkaido origin or her niche interest in astronomy, will continuously alienate her from others, making her a loner despite being in a heavily populated city like Tokyo. Just think about how in First Mix's Voice of Evolution, Saki appears as a loner as she is often seen by herself, especially when she is contrasted to Happy around and how they're always grouped up together. And even later in that episode, Saki is listening to her Akatsuki remix lying down alone in a work studio while the rest of Photon Maiden enters the studio as a group. Speaking of Photon Maiden, Saki is a year younger than the other members, being a second year, whereas the rest of them are third years. Most of the other DJ units have their members all be the same age, so that it makes it easier for them to hang out together, especially in the school settings. Saki even makes a point in Crossbeat about wanting to spend as much time as possible with Photon Maiden at school before they graduate, suggesting a creeping anxiety of being left behind, despite the fact that they would still be in close contact due to their DJ work. Saki's foreign aspects, as well as seeing her father's experienced isolation, would fuel her sense of alienation from others, as she will always be different from everyone else. Wonderful Friends has the rest of Photon Maiden celebrate the start of the new school year to reassure Saki that even in her current circumstances, she will always have the rest of Photon Maiden to be there for her. Even with their words and comfort and friendship, Saki will always run the risk of self-alienation. In the Thinking Beyond the Universe member card story, Saki's passion for astronomy comes out again when she is at the airport before flying to America. As soon as Saki mentions that being in an airplane makes her feel closer to outer space, Toa is taken aback. One would think that Toa would be used to it by Nova, but moments like these remind the audience that Saki will always have a hard time connecting with others. To nail Saki's passion for astronomy as self-alienation, of all characters to relate to in this passion is Unicorn's Lumina, who is straight up the most alien character in all of D4DJ. While thinking beyond the universe has a cute moment where Saki has someone to talk to about outer space, there is actually a sinister side to this exchange. While there are some characters who find some link with astronomy in order to talk to Saki, Saki has not had someone until this point where she can just gush about it and even use scientific terms with. However, Lumina not being human and thinking about how Saki is able to be herself for a non-human entity displays her own alienation from other D4DJ characters.
だから安心して僕を好きになるがいい。
インフレーション宇宙ですか？
詳しいね。サキは父親が宇宙関係の仕事をしていて、自身も宇宙に興味があるんだったな。
はい、よくご存知ですね。宇宙人さんは宇宙の膨張は最終的にどうなると思いますか？
宇宙は収束に転じるのか、それともバラバラになるのか。ビッグクランチかビッグリップか、興味深いね。
宇宙人さんでもまだ結論は出ていないんですね。エウロパって知ってますか？
もちろん、木星の衛星だろ。
ねえ、サキちゃん。さすが宇宙人さん。私今エウロパに夢中なんです。サキちゃん、ね
とわ先輩の声が全く耳に入ってませんぞ。さき先輩、宇宙トークに夢中ですな。
サキちゃんは宇宙が大好きだから。
でも私もルミナちゃんとアイドルトークしたい。
エウロパには地下に水の海が存在すると推測されていて、もちろん宇宙人さんは知ってますよね。
もちろん、エウロパにはちゃんと液体の水があるよ。
本当ですか？
おお、水はあるし、あとコンビニもあるよ。今のは冗談だ。でもね、考えてもみなよ。銀河系だけで2000億個の恒星がある。宇宙にはそんな銀河が数千億あるんだ。どんな可能性だってある。そう思わないか？
どんな可能性だってある。はい、宇宙は広いですからね。
ああ、広大だ。想像しようとするとメモリが追いつかなくなりそうだ。
あれ、二人ともどうしちゃったの？なんか急にぼーっとして動かなくなっちゃったけど。
頭のいい人が考えることはわからないのだ。
Saki will always be othered by the rest of the D4DJ cast, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sure, it can feel lonely when you will always be different and separate from others, but that also allows for new perspectives to be given. In Prayers Towards the Southern Cross, the Photon Maiden members buy Saki a home planetarium set for her birthday. Saki decides to play the Southern Hemisphere video from the projector to show the others her favorite constellation, the Southern Cross. After some discourse about how different stars and constellations are visible between the Northern and the Southern Hemisphere, Saki tells Ibuki, Noah, and Toa why the Southern Cross is her favorite constellation. First, the Southern Cross links Saki to her past, her father and how they spend time together, as well as her ever-growing fondness for outer space. Secondly, for Saki it represents her future goal to turn Photon Maiden into something truly amazing, using words like mesmerize people forever and transcend time. While her head is in the stars with the unreal and trans-dimensional goals, she accomplishes something truly great. No matter how long Saki stays in Tokyo, or how long D4DJ keeps being a thing, she will always feel like an outsider to those around her. However, that does not mean that she is unable to connect with others on a meaningful level. Even with her expansive ideals and stellar goals, Saki deeply connected with Ibuki, Noah, and Toa, bringing them to tears. while her words will lead one to think, "What are you?" Her charm and passions give a lot of life to the D4DJ franchise as we continue to follow Saki be with the world.
任せて。うわー、すごい、満天の星。
南の空ってこんな感じなんだ。北半球にいると見る機会少ないから新鮮だな。サキが一番好きなのってどれ？
あそこのやつだよ。南十字星。
南十字星？
確か北でいう北極星に当たる星が南にはないから、代わりに目印として使われてきた星だよね。
昔、父が小笠原諸島の観測所でお仕事があった時、連れて行ってもらったことがあって、その時に見た星なの。
そういえば南十字星って南方の星だけど、沖縄とか小笠原諸島とかでは条件が合えば実際に観測できるんだっけ？
そう。初めてこの目であの輝きを見て、それがとても綺麗で。それでね、この星は古くから南半球の人々に親しまれ、愛されてきた星だって聞いて、とても素敵だなって。
確かに南半球にはこの星を国旗にあしらってる国や地域が多いよね。オーストラリア、サモア、パプアニューギニア、ブラジルの国旗にもあったよね。
古い時代からずっと変わらず輝き続け、多くの人々を魅了し、しるべとして親しまれ、愛されてきた星。その存在を知った時からずっと好きだったけど、でも今は好きなだけじゃない。目標なんだ？フォトンメイデン。この4人でこの星のように輝いていきたい。ずっとずっと人々を魅了し続ける存在になりたいって思うから。
そんなこと思ってくれてるなんて。ちょっとイブキ、他の人の誕生日でも泣くの？
ノアだって人のこと言えないじゃん。
トアだって。
私はイブキさん、トワさん、ノアさんの3人と時代を超えて愛される存在になりたい。みんなが大好きだから、みんなで一緒に輝いていきたいな。
さっきなんてことを言うのでしょう、この子は。
サキちゃん、私もだよ。
これからもよろしくね。